Good morning, Carrie. Oh, Carrie, yet again, leading the way for the YouTubers. First on today. Come on, Baloo, Morgan, counting on you guys. Where's ZK at? Hello, Rosalind. If I said that right. You're doing well. Amy's on. Good morning, Amy. Hi, Angela and Angie. Blue as well. Hello to Renee. All the way up in Carrollton this morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Weather Blog. I'm Wave Meter. I don't know what I am. Weather guy. There we go. Weather guy, Brian Goode. Till it's Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I've got about a little less than 20 minutes to spend with you guys today, so a little bit of abbreviated blog, but we'll get to a lot of different topics today, including Melissa. We'll talk about the soon-to-be hurricane, I think, into the southern areas of the Caribbean and how that's going to evolve into the weather pattern. And, of course, as we get into Halloween week as well. A lot to cover there. You got it right, Brian. Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, Rosalind. Hello to Harrison. Your birthday is November 24th. Can we get some snow? Well, Harrison, I hope you are planning to enter that snow guess contest. A reminder again that is out right now and active. In case you missed it yesterday, the snow guess contest is a chance for you to win a VIP tour of the Wave Studios here in the Weather Blog area where we do Storm Talk and Snow Talk, where I am right now. The main studio, you get a chance to be in the control room, the weather garden as well, and you become the snow ambassador for the winter season, which means we'll be checking in with you multiple times in future snow events. So you got to have the ability to check in with us as well when we're back and forth, as far as knowing how to do a Zoom call or whatever the case may be, so that you're kind of handy there with social media. So if you're struggling with that, it's fine. You can still enter, but make sure somebody's able to help you out when it comes to us interacting later on in the season. So how do you enter? Well, you can scan the QR code. I know a lot of you are watching on your phone right now, so you can't. But the link is available on my Facebook page, the Wave Weather Facebook page. The link is there for you to click, so you'll be able to go straight there. I wish I could put it into the chat, but unfortunately, the chat will not let me type it or put it in there. So good luck. We've had several hundred guesses already. The date is what is going to matter for the first 1 inch of snow or higher at Louisville Ollie International Airport. It has to be there. It's got to be measured at least an inch for that date or higher. It could still melt in the afternoon, but it has to at some point reach that level before melting. If some of you choose the same date, then we will look at the snow amount that you picked out, because you'll have that option as well. Say, for instance, so you get the same date and you get the same snow amount, then it will be a randomized drawing of who the winner will be. And a lot of dates. You guys are all over the place. I've been looking at them so far. Interesting trend I've noticed on some of the dates. But there are several of you that have picked the same date. So kind of think about this. You only get one chance to enter. You got to be 18 or older. All the rules are there on the link when you read it. So make sure to check it out as well. All right, guys, good luck. Again, it will end midday there on Halloween Day itself. Angie said I put mine in. All right, Angie, I'll look and see what you put in. Carrie said, I filled mine out and I'm going to win. That's confidence. I like that. I like that, Carrie. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the weather setup. A little windy again outside, or at least the wind's starting to ramp up. I didn't put wind gust in. Should I have done that? Probably so. Let me, that's Huber's Orchard and Winery. Let me pull up the gusts real quick and see where we stand on that. Yeah, not too bad. About 20 miles per hour, maybe up to 25. That makes sense while the camera's moving in Indiana. They're in western Clark County. It will pick up as the day wears on, just kind of FYI, as we get into that sunnier setup for this afternoon. We'll start to see more of an uptick. Gusts will be similar, around 30 miles per hour. But temperatures today, not on a fast pace to warm like yesterday. Yesterday, we were already near 60, into the 60s in some spots. By the time I was talking to you guys on the blog. So we're running behind nearly 10 degrees, maybe up to 15 behind schedule. So that means we're on track to be a cooler day. So with the wind gust of 30 miles per hour, yeah, that's going to require a jacket all day. Maybe even a coat, depending on your flavor there. But no doubt it is going to be a chilly setup today. But this is setting the stage for what will happen tonight with the colder temperatures rolling in. But we have a lot of sun at play today. So a beautiful looking sky once again to wave country. It's been a really nice week so far, right? We've had nothing but blue every day after we had some active weather over the weekend. There's that low pressure spinning about across the Great Lakes. Again, the wind field still strong enough because it retrograded a bit from yesterday. Kind of drifted east, then went back, leaned back slightly, and then it's about to push away. So with it leaning near us, it's going to keep the wind up today. But this is important. This is important because for frost development, you want a clear sky. Light winds under 5 miles per hour is acceptable, but calm obviously is ideal. And then next, of course, you have to have enough moisture for the dew point to be reached there. But we will see at least a good setup for a lot of the valley areas because the valleys in wave country and parts of Indiana are sheltered from any 5+ mile per hour wind. Louisville's a little different because we have two things working against us. We do tend to get a little bit more wind at times into the city, of course, and we also have the urban heat island effect at play. The colder air is not overwhelming, so the heat island will likely beat the chilly air. So in Jefferson County, I think your chance to get frost is probably going to be limited to the Snyder Freeway, and in the Waterston, probably not. But the Snyder Freeway, more than likely you will. I don't think it's going to be enough to be a full going crazy with the ice scraper. It should be a very thin coating, but no doubt you'll notice it. I think Friday morning, though, could be a rather thick coating of frost on your windshield for Friday morning. So kind of a heads up the plan ahead there. All right. So here are the alerts. First off, let me show you the wind gusts now. Again, higher north, lower south. Same as basically yesterday. Not a big ordeal. Frost advisories are out now for parts of wave country. No alerts yet for Friday morning. They have discussed a freeze watch potential. They will decide that later on, probably today or tomorrow morning, on what to do with Friday morning. But there's going to be some type of alert. I don't see how they're going to avoid that for Friday. It's just a matter of what type. So that's what they're working on. And plus, you don't want to, it's tough to overlap alerts 2 mornings in a row because it gets a little confusing. Which one is which when you see them on maps. So I like that they're kind of waiting a bit. And hats off to the National Weather Service too. Let me back up a second. Let's see if I can do that. Yes, there we go. Hats off to them because look at the advisory. They did a great job of going around the city of Louisville. I love that because that was a question we talked about yesterday is will there be like a donut hole for the advisory, like all around Louisville or not? To be honest with you, I think they could have done that because it wouldn't surprise me that we get some frost here near the parkways, Marion County, Hardin County. It's possible, probably a little more patchy, but I still like how they did this because it makes total sense. So we'll let you know what happens for Friday. This is a relatively tame weather event. Nothing wild happens with frost, right? But to answer somebody's question that I know it popped up about ragweed, yeah, this would, especially on Friday, this should take care of the growing season. I'm hoping it'll be officially declared. University of Kentucky Ag Department makes that decision. So Weather Service will check in with them, and if they say yes, it's ended, then they declare it. And then no more frost and freeze advisories until spring, when the growing season resumes. All right. Okay, good enough. All right, here's the outlook for numbers tonight. 40s in Louisville, But again, you get away from the city, you get into those 30s. 36 is about the magic number to get frost. And you can see that a few spots are right around that area. For Friday morning, yeah, a lot of folks are in that zone, right? And you get into the darker purple, which indicates a freeze. A light freeze. It's not going to be a hard freeze, but freeze nonetheless. Please make sure you unhook your hoses from the spigot outside in the yard. Otherwise, you'll end up with a frozen pipe that can bust. It happens many times. It's even happened to some of us on the weather team before. So make sure that you unhook that hose. All right. Because we've had warm weather lately, probably still did some watering. I have grass seed I'm trying to take care of, although this is probably going to take care of the grass seed and kill it pretty quick for me. All right, wind gusts today, not too terrible, roughly in that 20 to 30 miles per hour range. Enough on that. When there's nothing dramatic there. So let's get into the weekend setup, which is going to feature the clouds and the showers. This low pressure is going to be a pain as it rolls on by here. We don't know yet how much moisture is going to be thrown into Kentucky. This is the GFS you're looking at. But we do know a lot of clouds will be thrown at us. Some of this is probably going to be Virga, which is, again, the rain that doesn't reach the ground but shows up on the radar. So that can create some cooling in spots. So still some questions, especially on Sunday, on how much of this is going to survive because the track of the low is kind of just wobbling everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the two main models, GFS and Euro, because I would say right now the extended outlook, including much of Halloween week, is highly in question. And I fully expect it to keep changing. So we're trying to go slow with any adjustments, but it's going to take some time to get this to settle. It may even take until Friday for us to get a good handle, even on the weekend. So just be patient. We say this a lot. Sometimes it's easy in the long term. This one's not as easy because we have a lot of cutoff lows, a lot of bowling balls rolling around the lower 48, and they're just wandering. There's no really strong flow to move them anywhere for a while here. So because of that wobbling, it makes a difference. One model run will have heavy rain and severe weather in the area. The next model run, partly sunny and 60. And it'll go back and forth every 6 hours. It gets exhausting. And the ensembles are all over the place too, so they're not really helping either. Usually we use the ensembles in that scenario. They're not much better. All right, so where do we stand on this? Let me show you. Let's get into the Euro first. This is the Euro, and again, this is the freezing line aloft here. I've kind of changed this for the winter look now. Freezing line aloft, this is where you get your rain snow on, if you will. Typical rain snow on, not always exactly, but close. But just give you an idea where the cold weather is, right? All right, we get into Saturday. I would bet more on a dry setup on Saturday than a wet one because we'll have a lot of dry air for this system to overcome initially. But once we get into Sunday, this is tough because it's going to be an I-20 tracker, more than likely. It's just going to be wobbling up and down here between I-40 and I-20. So the northern shield may push in. If you're south of Louisville, your odds are a little higher. But north, a little bit lower. Louisville probably split the difference. We're going to keep it about 20, maybe 30% roughly for the weekend until we get a better handle. Hope that makes sense. It zooms on by because we're waiting to see what Melissa's going to do, which we'll get into that in a second. This low pressure you can see here. The Atlantic, again, is closed, so Melissa will have a chance to get into the Atlantic, but she's got to go a little more along the East Coast there. But this low pressure is going to retrograde a bit, and this is the problem for Tuesday because another low pressure is moving in. This is actually, if you would, a combination of the warm front and cold front, the arc. That's the eastern side of the low. There's no rain on the western side of it. But this is where we get into the thunderstorm potential. You probably have seen on social media everywhere. I'm talking about severe weather outbreaks in the plains, which I don't see a signal for that right now. But this is where they're getting that from, is this low moving in and colliding with this low here to the east. And it gets a little messy how they both will kind of interact. And you can see the chilly air rolls in near Halloween. But we don't know yet if this low is going to still be around the area. And this is key on the rain chance for Halloween. If it's closer to us, it rolls back too far, then the rain chance will be intact for Halloween. If it continues to stay into New England, our chances to get rain are much lower. And we will be a cool but a dry Halloween. So still needs more time in the oven to settle that idea. It moves on out. And then our next system, which the Euro stops here, I wish it continued, but another one will drop in, and it's going to be very dynamic for Halloween weekend and the first week in November. Boy, a lot of solutions there that could happen, but in general, everything is lining up for a blast of cold air to move in, but it may not be entirely cold all of the first week. I think there will be some warm weather involved, but an attack of cold weather is still showing up in the data for early November. But I just don't know yet how that's going to look because it's very complex. The low pressures are fighting like crazy right now and dipping down in the eastern part of the United States, kind of rolling backwards, if you will. And that makes things a little weird. All right. Well, got a power outage. Wavy. Hello, Wavy. Power outage, 1.8% of Trimble County. 62 customers right now in one Trimble County without power. Probably not able to type to me if you have no power. What'd you say there, ZK? Doesn't rain and snow equals sleet? Not sure. Maybe I missed the conversation. All right, I'll come back to that. Hang tight. I do think that it's more likely to be a sleet scenario for early November than snow, based on what I've seen on possible solutions. This should give you an idea of where we're kind of leaning there. But again, just don't know which day to put it on and really how cold it will actually be. But it looks very dynamic for sure the first week in November. Okay, GFS model. Similar for the weekend, that Sunday, Monday, and here comes that wave. Again, here's the eastern side of the low, trying to throw in an arc of showers, maybe on Tuesday, could be Wednesday. Yeah, it's kind of split on when it could actually finally arrive. And then we get into at least a hint to Halloween. You see the GFS takes that low and moves it all out, but it brings in the next one quicker. So we actually get a little bit of a rain chance that evolves Halloween night into the first weekend there, Halloween weekend. Into November. Don't forget that weekend, by the way, we set our clocks back 1 hour Halloween weekend. So heads up on that. So there you go. That's kind of the general idea where we stand along the term. I'll get to some of your questions in a second. I'm running out of time here, so I want to get to Melissa. A tropical storm. This is going to be a wild event here, guys. And you really got to feel for the folks right now in Haiti and the Dominican Republic, into Jamaica and Eastern Cuba. This is going to be a wild event because this system is likely to have a rapid intensification and could be one for the books. And it's moving very slow. The official track is very close on every little timestamp. We haven't seen that yet this year with this kind of a storm. It gets close to Jamaica on the southern coast, which is a bad spot. You never want to be on the north or northeast side of a hurricane or a cyclone. That's just bad news. The strongest of the winds likely can hit the coast there. Still on the spaghetti plots, you gotta love that. Some trying to take it toward the Yucatan, some curve around Jamaica, then head again up the east coast, but not on the coast, out to sea, but tracking parallel to the coast, heading into the northern Atlantic. GFS, I think, is one that keeps trying to turn it more to the right faster. But so far, we haven't seen that. It's been drifting, if anything, a little more west. So the western idea seems to be the leading way for now. But this water is like bath water. I thought I'd put it in. I didn't. Hold on. Let me play that real quick. The temperatures in that area, 86 degrees right now around Jamaica. And so this is more than bath water. I mean, it is quite toasty for the Caribbean. So there's plenty of fuel. And there are a lot of ensembles that take this to a Cat 4, Cat 5 type of scenario. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it can certainly do it. It's got everything in its favor. It's got a high pressure dome in the area. There's not any shear that I can find that's going to really hamper it. There's no dry air. It's got a very warm Atlantic or Southern Caribbean. The stage is set for what looks to be a very rapid intensification of Melissa. So something to watch. And once it gets northeast of Cuba, it gets into the cooler water and then it's done. It'll start to weaken and become an extratropical system fairly quick. All right, let me get into the 10-day real quick and get to some of your questions. 10 days pretty self-explanatory, kind of recaps everything I've said. Carrie, has there been a year where we didn't get hit by a hurricane? Oh, yeah, we've had a few where we haven't had landfalls. I don't know the exact years, but it has happened. It's a little unusual this year to have so many Cat 4 and Cat 5s and not make landfall. So that's really stood out. So this idea of affecting Jamaica is what makes Melissa stand out for the first time this season a little more. Thanks for the tip about the outdoor hoses. You're welcome, Joanne. You got to do that. It does make a difference. Always plan ahead. Always plan ahead. Let's see. How can it frost if it's not frozen? Well, Carrie, that's a whole other topic I don't have time for, but it's called sublimation. So look that up if you want to, and maybe I can explain it a little more in a future blog update. Okay, I think everything's good. I got to run, unfortunately, as we get another program we got to get ready for. But I just want to at least update you guys on where we stand today on the outlook and expect some changes. Even in our newscast today, from midday to the 3 to 4 to the 6, you may see changes. So keep checking back in with us. We will be updating the app first, so always check that to see what decisions we're leaning toward there. All right. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your hump day outside. It is a beautiful day, just a little windy and a bit on the chilly side. And if you get any frost, let me know. Send those pictures. Take care, guys. See you on the flip.